Hello there, my name is Papa Yao, and today I'm presenting to you a book that I've written, I put together, called A Mirror of Song of Solomon. Mirror of Song of Solomon. So I would like to talk a little bit about it, explain what's inside and the rationale behind Mirror of Song of Solomon. It is inspired by the scriptures of Song of Solomon in the Bible. As we all know, right in the middle of the Bible we have Song of Solomon. Sometimes some commentators treat it as an allegory. Some treat it as an analogy. Some treat it as literal. So an allegory is a story, a made-up story with a meaning. And an analogy is a fact that is compared to another fact. So Jesus Christ used to use the same analogies, like the kingdom of heaven is like so and so. And then some commentaries of Song of Solomon also talk about the literal aspect of the language of Song of Solomon. For example, when you read the Song of Solomon, all the 8 chapters, you see beautiful sceneries depicted with language, like we have vineyards and apples, and places like Damascus are mentioned, Lebanon, the pools of Heshbon, flowers like the rose of Sharon are all mentioned. These are literal things that we can also talk about. And I'm also intrigued about the language, the poetry of how Solomon and Shulamite, how they use words to describe their own physicality, their the desires of their sexual love. So, for example, when you read the first verse of Song of Solomon, the first 2 verses, it says, "The Song of Solomon, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine." This is also illustrated here. So basically what the book is about, the drawings in the book are mirroring the language of Song of Solomon. The poetry in the Song of Solomon is also there. Of course, we know that Solomon, a very wise man, also wrote more than 3,000 proverbs and more than 1,000 songs. According to 1 Kings chapter 4 verse 32, we hear of 1,000 proverbs written by Solomon and 1,000 songs, of which the Song of Solomon is the highest or the greatest of all. Of course, in the Jewish tradition, they don't have adjectives to describe something that is superlative. So they don't have the most beautiful. They will say beauty of beauties. So the Song of Songs, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So the Song of Solomon is such pieces of poetry. And I took inspiration from language written by Leonardo da Vinci, who was somebody who was also mindful and aware of the power of language. So he said in his book, painting is poetry that can be seen, and poetry is painting that can be felt. Poetry and painting, the interplay between language. What comes to mind when you read some of these biblical texts?